And I think he's thinking of, not just a few thousand people here or there, but mass uprisings that may be beyond the control of the government to handle. I mean, we could be talking about a revolution at some point. I have no idea. Well, nobody can foretell, whether this in fact will happen, let alone when it could happen. But it's certainly, these things have happened historically in other places. Because we had our own revolution here, not because of economic troubles. Well, because the British were exploiting us back in the over a couple of hundred years ago. So we had our own revolution of sort. But this would be different. This would be something that never happened in this country before. And it's very possible that things could get so bad that this is the way people will react. They're fed up with a government that absolutely has betrayed them, and the only solution is to get rid of this government.
Well, I agree with Gerald, and it's going to happen all over the world. At least 50% of the countries in the world will be in revolution simply because they're getting all these broadcasts. They're getting my publication. They know what's going on, and they're spreading the word worldwide. And this is what's so terrifying to the Illuminists. And, yes, it's going to be that way. And, yes, what's going to happen is that the U.S. government is going to try to bring mercenaries into the United States, probably 250,000 to 500,000 of them, to so-called bring law and order to our country. And I can promise them, if they're listening, if they come, they're not going home. Because what the American people will do is they will go and help our military to stop these mercenaries. And I'll be the first one to volunteer, I'll tell you. And that's where the secret is. We're going to have a coup in the United States government. These people have to be all brought to trial for treason and hung, and all of their assets given to the United States government to pay off all the people that we know from the money that was stolen from us.
It has been stolen from us, there's no question. And another economist I get on the program regularly, Bob, Jack Rasmus, he teaches out in California. He has written, and he's got a new book coming out on this, documenting well over $1 trillion in wealth transfer from ordinary people to the very elite at the top. And this has been going on year after year for many years. I forget the precise title of his book. It should be out before too long. And, they do it in very clever ways. Raising the payroll tax and Social Security back in the 80s when Greenspan did this. He earned his bona fides and then became Fed chairman. And by hiking taxes on the little people or giving our money to Wall Street bandits, all kinds of ways they have of stealing public wealth and getting it to the elite forces on the top. And if they drain one area dry, I guess they haven't drained this country dry yet, but they could go around the world. Iceland has been very severely attacked, and whether Iceland will go along with what they want, I don't know. But if they do, and they literally drain all the wealth out of Iceland, they'll simply dump the hulk and go on to another host and drain it dry. I mean, like a vampire draining its host. Right. And moving on to another host, and just keep draining them all, and they can keep this sick game going for a very long time. There's only one answer, as you say. It's up to people just not being willing to take this anymore and taking it upon ourselves to stop it. Because if we don't stop it, these bandits at the top and their government co-conspirators, they're just going to keep doing it. There's no question about it. I write about this stuff, and of course you do.
Well, you're absolutely correct. And everything is working in that direction. And it all depends on the combination of events, but we can't get deluded and we can't get broken apart. We can't get continually sucked into the left-right paradigm, the political paradigm. We have to go beyond that. We have to look beyond that. We have to look at the survival of our country and our civilization, and the civilizations throughout the entire world that are all different than ours, but they certainly deserve to continue the way that they want to. What's good for America and Europe and Canada is not good for Colombia or Laos. And so that's the line that we have to take. We have to be fair with everybody. We have to get rid of all our prejudices, and goodness knows Americans, particularly, are very prejudiced people. And there's a reason for that, the evolution of people coming into our country from all over the world. And each group had to earn their bones, so to speak, in each migration wave that came from everywhere. And it's presented America with a population that really has a warrior tradition, a very, very strong one. And I think when we reach that climatic point where the action is going to take place, God help the people who get in their way, because they're not taking any prisoners. I mean, they send 500,000 mercenaries to America. They are not going to leave. They're going to be planted here. Americans will not tolerate that. And so Mr. Salenti's right, and Jerome Corsi's right, and you and I are right. That's the way this thing is headed. And we do have a chance, a remote one, of getting H.R. 1207 passed, kicking half those people in Washington out who are getting paid off on every issue. It's got to stop. And it's up to the American people to do it. But if they don't do it, and we can't make that headway, revolution is the only answer.
Bob, I'm not sure the number 1207 is auditing the Fed.
Yes.
Oh, boy, would that be a revelation? Of course, the Fed is fighting tooth and nail to see it doesn't happen. A lot of co-signers, I think about 300 in the House, but I would guess the Senate is the big obstacle.
Right, and I think that they have to be overwhelmed, and it's up to your listeners to contact every senator and tell them this co-sponsor, SB 604, that we need our country back. And if you don't, we're not going to vote for you. We're going to campaign against you, because this is the most important issue in our country since the Civil War. And if we don't get it right, half the population of the world is going to die.
Oh, it's astonishing how potentially bad things could be. As you say, Bob, it does not have to be this way, but we are very definitely on track, unless it can be reversed, toward a really an apocalyptic situation, potentially. It's like the fuse is lit, and who the devil is watching this thing burn down and not lifting a finger to do something to stop it? We have to stop it, or heaven help us. And I feel especially for the young people, I can't imagine what they have to look forward to. One more break, Bob, and then we'll come back. I'll let you finish up with some final comments. We'll be right back.
Okay.